Are you ready? Always. I got stuck. It got stuck on its own. But I didn't do anything. Who's gonna save the day? Me. We file it all off. You didn't get scared? Doesn't bother me. What's this? You hit it? And didn't say anything? Show me. Again. You're distracting me. I have something very special for you today. My name is Agnieszka Hoffman-Gebel and I'm a product specialist at Indigo. Today I have a special guest. It's one of the head instructors from our headquarters in Łódź. I present to you Klaudia Kawinśka. Good afternoon. It's been a while since I've been here. A year? Too long. You'll be scared when you see what I have on my nails. Impossible. I've seen it all. Ready? Don't ask. Let's just do a correction. Look at this line of light. Everyone has to learn how to do nails at some point. I was the model. Don't ask, just fix it quickly. Save me. I'll try. I'll do my best. We know this is bad. Yes. What do we start with? Disinfection and gloves. Tell me, what product will we use to save this terrible situation? The only product that can handle this is acrylic gel. It will save the day because we can build up what is simply not there. I made the same mistake the girls make when they want to force their nails to look slimmer. Before I started working at Indigo, many years ago, I thought my nails were too wide, and I used to constantly overfile the sides. And it haunts me to this day, because it's hard to grow those sides back, isn't it? Agnieszka's growth point on her thumbs is almost at the top. So we have a very interesting situation here, but nothing acrylic gel can't handle. New e-file bits, panna cotta acrylic gel, mineral base in porcelain. But there will also be products such as acid-free primer, perfect base, a base that has recently returned to our range, and a double-sided acrylic gel tool with a spatula. If you want to see what products we use to repair my nails, you can find them all in the link below. We'll start with the new e-file bit, carbide number 11, which is made of sintered carbide and has a blue band, which means it has a medium grit and is perfect for removing gel mass. We start by putting the e-file bit into the handle. Don't forget to lock it and double-check that it's properly locked in. Remember to work on high revs, above 15,000. Girls, remember to tie your hair back when working with an e-file, because it can get caught in the handle and that will not be pleasant. Safety first, of course. Above 15,000, we start by removing the mass in the center section. The most important thing is that the pressure on the e-file bit is even. If you press too hard, you'll create an indentation which we do not want, and which Agnieszka will feel as a burning sensation. So let's remember that the pressure on the e-file machine must remain even. Moving to the right side, we work with the right side of the bit. Moving to the left side, we work with the left side of the bit. Good I didn't get the directions mixed up. I'm only a woman. Your other left. The ergonomic shape of the bit allows you to remove the material from under the nail fold. Repeat the actions on the next nail. Start in the middle and gradually move left and right. The large contact surface means that we can remove the material quite quickly, and I feel almost nothing. We use an e-file machine to remove about 70 to 80% of the mass. It all depends on what we need to correct. In Agnieszka's case, it will be about 80%. Then we'll correct the shape with a manual file. It's very important to pick up the e-file bit and work in one direction only. So don't work like this, because we can heat up the nail plate. We work down, Pick up the bit and again move from the top to the bottom. Remember that the e-file bit movements must be confident and consistent. We shouldn't stop the bit in one place because it can hurt. We could make a hole. Additionally, we must pay attention to the thickness of the free edge. We remove as much mass as possible. We know that we will be building back up here, but we want to get rid of the old mass because, in the end, we will still be filing underneath with an e-file. I need to remove any excess mass to speed up my work, so I don't have to file it off later manually. Time for the last nail, the thumb. Glorious. Beautiful. The girls laughed that my nails could be used in instructor exams for assessing form placement skills. You are a special case. Half an hour per nail. But acrylic gel will speed things up, right? Why is that? Because we won't have to place a form at all. Acrylic gel can be rested on the skin, which will significantly speed up the whole styling. Remember to have good visibility at all times. If I have this much dust, I can't see well, so I have to remember to dust off the nail and monitor how much mass is still left to remove. Then we form the nail using a buffer and a file. Remember to smooth the edges on all sides. Remember that a correction is something completely different than building a styling from scratch. You have to know how to do it to ensure that the nails are durable, safe, and pretty. And what will we be doing today? We'll pair an acrylic gel with a mineral base. I'm matched with your colors today. Your white blouse and pink blazer. A coincidence? I don't think so. The nails will look the same. Does this mean it will be a baby boomer? A baby boomer. I love pink nails, and if we add a baby boomer to it, I'll be super happy. I hope you'll keep these nails for a while. We'll see. We'll work with the 100 to 180 grit file because we've still got some leftover gel mass, so can confidently work with a coarser nail file. By the cuticles, we need to remember to use slightly rounded motions and switch to the 180 grit side. We're keeping the length, right? Yes, don't cut them. I already have such short nails, and I don't like having short nails. They make me feel weird. You know that feeling when you're used to long nails and suddenly they're short? Klaudia did the most important baby boomer in my life because she did my wedding nails. Yes. When was that? In 2017. A long time ago, my love. We move on to the two worst nails, meaning the index fingers, which in Agnieszka's case are drooping down slightly. Drooping nails, especially index fingers ones, are very normal because they tend to experience the most pressure daily. They are the most used ones. I think a lot of people have drooping nails. Yes, I agree. Mine are the same and are begging for a correction. We can do a barter trade. I'm not sure you'd want that. Maybe the viewers would like to see that. A product specialist does nails. I don't think you'd want to wear those. Time to lift the side edges slightly. Remember not to push the nail file too deeply underneath to avoid causing damage to the hypernychium, which can form under such long nails. We lift this edge up and, what's important, we check the length of the index fingernail against the ring finger because they should be the exact same length. Abracadabra. Let's move on to the thumb then. Oh dear. Remember that you have to be very gentle with the side edges, because it's so easy to do what I did here. There is nothing to file here because the side edges are non-existent and we will have to build them back up nicely. Look, this is how much we're missing here. This is how much we'll have to build up. So we always pay attention to the width of the actual finger's side edges.
bocznych naturalnego paznokcia.
This is how wide it should be at this point.
W tym miejscu paznokieć.
I did it especially for you. Let's agree on that. I've been destroying my nails for years, so today you can see how to reconstruct them with acrylic gel. And if I took acrylic gel away from you, what could you do with it?
Żelem.
With acrylic, gel, and potentially gel polish, with all of it.
Zaczniemy swoją pracę.
Time for the cuticles. We'll start by using the e-file bit number 17, which is very similar to bit number 9, but it is our newest.
Ten frez jest
See how this bit is more delicate, slimmer, and slightly longer, thanks to which it will be perfect for small, slim nails.
do smukłych i małych paznokci. Manikur rozpoczynamy.
We begin the manicure at a speed of 10,000 to 15,000.
15,000. To jest bardzo
It is very important for the safety of the manicure. 10 to 15,000. Write it down, remember it.
Tutaj pracę rozpoczynamy od wału.
We start working on the nail fold in the proximal area.
Najpierw sobie frezem
First, we use the e-file bit to gently peel off the cuticle residue stuck to the nail plate.
Pamiętajcie, że każdy indywidualny
Remember that everyone has their individual approach to working with each e-file speed.
15,000 to jest mój sposób.
10 to 15,000 is my method. Other people may work slightly slower.
Wolniej. Pamiętamy o tym.
Remember to dust off all the time. Here I will gently grab the finger with an overhand grip to file the second part of the nail.
Aby wyfrezować drugą
First,
część paznokcia.
I work in a sweeping motion,
Pracuję ruchem wymiatającym, następnie
and then I will work in a push sweep motion.
popychająco
I gently push this cuticle up and sweep it to the side.
delikatnie sobie popycham tą skórkę i wymiatam na bok.
Clients often have reservations when using an e-file machine because they have had bad experiences. Correctly filed cuticles, mass correctly removed from the nail plate, should not cause any pain. It should feel like gentle stroking. You can feel slight vibrations, but absolutely nothing should be causing you pain. I have clients who are very scared of the e-file because they have had a bad experience with a person who is clearly not very experienced.
Która niekoniecznie gdzieś tam miała
But it can sometimes happen that an e-file bit slips accidentally.
frez nam się wymsknie.
We repeat this on all nails in the same way. That is, first clean them and only then push back the nail fold. The point from which we can start narrowing down the nail is at the end of the fingertip.
Zwężać sobie nasz paznokieć jest na końcu.
From this moment on, we will file towards the center in an almond, because an almond is one thing, an oval is another, and a square is something different completely.
I kwadrat to co innego.
We are always very careful with the thumb, especially with one like Agnieszka's.
U Agnieszki, jak
How deep is Agnieszka's lunula?
głęboko
It is up to this point,
Agnieszki on
which means that the matrix is located quite shallowly under the nail fold, and we must be careful when filing not to damage it.
I musimy uważać podczas frezowania, aby jej nie uszkodzić. Bo tak
Such damage to the matrix would mean the end of the nail. Yes, it could mean permanent damage, and that cannot be fixed.
uszkodzenia już
Nothing can be done with that.
nic tam się nie da z tym zrobić.
So the nail will always grow back deformed.
Tym frezem
Using this e-file bit number 17, we can also smooth out what's on the nail fold. So it truly is a multifunctional tool, which you can use on the cuticle edge to smooth out nail walls,
możecie wykorzystać zarówno
but also to mattify the natural nail plate.
gładzenia wałów, ale
But for that,
również
we'll need to adjust the rotation speed.
naturalnej płytki, ale wtedy troszeczkę będziemy zmieniać sobie prędkość obrotów. Czas na drugi
Time for the second phase of cuticle filing, which means it's time for the cuticle number 10 bit.
Jest to taki malutki
It's this small, gentle flame.
czerwona wstążeczka.
The red band indicates it is the most delicate bit. Ironically, you would think that it would be the other way around, that the green band would be the most delicate, but no. It's the red that's gentle, perfect for this task. We use this bit between the nail wall. I'll be your wall and your nail plate. Other way around.
Pomiędzy wałem
In between the nail wall and the nail plate, the angle at which we work is very important.
kątem pracujemy. Nie może być to
It can't be an angle higher than 45 degrees because it will create a crevice or a groove in the nail plate which can cause damage.
rowek, i może powstać nam uszkodzenie.
We need to work more flat, without pressing into the nail plate. We start from the middle, at 10,000 to 15,000 RPM, as mentioned before. You can see clearly how it opens up. It's terrifying and fascinating at the same time to see how the bit travels across the nail wall, how it all moves. We can lay down the bit and work flat. We don't have to work in parallel. What is also very important is that I'm pulling the nail wall slightly up to make it easier for me to pass through this membrane. This is what properly prepared nails look like. We're not removing the cuticles, you must keep that in mind. Why? So we don't nip the skin when filing. Exactly, they're natural. She's so clever. I don't know how I knew that. Listen, cuticles are our natural safety barrier, which protects our client's skin during filing. They reduce the risk because if we really try, we can still nip it. We'll remove the cuticles later if any still remain. I think that on the middle finger there's nothing. Here just a tiny bit, not much at all on the index finger, almost nothing on the pinky. So really there's barely anything here to remove at all. It's time for mattifying. I do it with a 100 to 180 grip buffer. Don't forget that by the nail wall, our movements need to be rounded and not directed like this. You can see how it goes over the skin here. We don't want that. Look how we complete each other. I pour a small amount of cleaner onto a cotton pad and I move as if I wanted to clean under the nail fold. Let's see how beautifully moisture gets extracted from the nail plate. You can even see it on the nail fold because it turns white. It's dehydrated. Now what? Primer. It's very important to drain the brush from any excess product. Remember that we only apply primer to the natural nail plate. There's no point applying it to any products present on the nail surface. Primer is supposed to create a durable base for further stages of the styling, but it works only on the natural plate. What base did you prepare for me today? My favorite base. The perfect base has returned. I meant to say protein. My favorite protein base, perfect base, has returned, which is perfect for gel and acrylic gel stylings. What is very important when working with perfect base is to drain the brush as much as possible. Apply the base in a rubbing motion. If you can't be bothered to remove the excess from the bottle brush, you can simply apply a small amount to each nail and rub it in with an acrylic gel brush. We rub the base into the natural nail plate. But nothing bad will happen if we drag it across the rest of the material too. Time to use the acrylic gel in panna cotta. So, time for the correction. Yes, finally. And thanks to the fact that we have white acrylic gel, my baby boomer will be faster, and above all, it will be structural. So it will be even more beautiful than the one made with a sponge on the surface. We take the double-sided tool. On one side we have a brush, and on the other side, a spatula. I will use the spatula to apply the acrylic gel to the nail. We measure 1/3 of the nail's length, and this is the amount of acrylic gel we'll need. It's better to take a little more and remove some than not take enough and then try to squeeze more in. I squeeze it out and apply it. It's me, the happy nail. I will get a beautiful baby boomer. We drain the excess. There should not be too much cleaner. Too much cleaner may affect the brittleness of the material. Now we get to work. We will work with the belly of the brush and the tip. But to shade the front,
nasz przód.
I have to hold the brush at approximately a 45-degree angle.
45 stopni.
Spread it to the right and left,
I na lewo. Następnie
then smooth it towards the free edge.
go w stronę wolnego brzegu. W czasie mojej
During my momentary inattention,
zachowała się jak
Agnieszka behaved like a typical customer, not insulting our wonderful clients. But what did she do? I got stuck. It got stuck on its own.
przykleiło.
But I didn't do anything.
Przecież nic nie zrobiłam. O.
And who will have to save the day now?
Kto będzie ratował tę sytuację?
Me.
Co ja
What do I have to do?
zrobić?
I have to pat it down a little.
Klepać. No i teraz tak.
And now, if I want to move the mass a little to the side, as I mentioned earlier, I have to work with the belly of the brush.
Brzuszkiem naszego pędzelka. Czyli
So if we want to push the material to the side, then I use the belly to push it across.
mojego brzuszka sobie go przepycham.
Let's not forget that this nail also droops down a little, so we need to correct the shape a bit and apply a thicker amount of the product to the free edge, so we can file some off from underneath later. And the sides?
Myślę, że to jest
On their way.
widoczne w trakcie.
If you try to narrow them down again, we'll have a different chat. I won't come back. More space for me then. I'm joking.
Pamiętamy,
We remember that the edges should come out in line with the edges of the natural nail,
nokcia naturalnego.
not narrower and not deeper, but better deeper than narrower. We push it aside and fix it with the tip.
Pamiętam również
I also keep in mind that there must be more material on the free edge, because we'll need to file it from underneath later.
czas na
Time for the thumb.
i rozpoczynamy
We start patting the product down left and
na
right.
lewo i na prawo. Na
At first, I push with the belly towards this magical edge.
magicznej krawędzi. Znowu
I dip the brush again.
pędzelek, popycham,
I push, push, belly, 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 and I'm here.
tutaj.
Good. That's it? Yes, it's done. I blend out with the tip of the brush.
Czubkiem pędzelka. Jeżeli
If we want to push the material further, we continue to work using the stroking technique, dragging it forward.
wyciągającą go do przodu. Natomiast jeżeli
However, if we want to move it, we do it with the belly and get to the other edge.
brzuszkiem i dochodzimy
There you go, it's all eaten away.
do drugiej krawędzi.
Well, look,
Bardzo, jaka pięknie zjedzona.
the edge I added is an extension of the edge of the natural nail.
Krawędź, ta, którą dobudowałam, jest przedłużeniem krawędzi naturalnego paznokcia. Jeżeli
If the sides are beautifully placed and aligned, now it's time to pull the material up a little from underneath.
na to, aby troszeczkę podciągnąć ten materiał spod spodu do góry, czyli musimy go
We have to pull it a little towards the free edge.
w stronę tak jakby wolnego brzegu.
Okay, done.
Możemy
We
utworzyć
can cure it. Cleaner, wipe off.
niewielką ilość.
We put a small amount on a cotton pad and wipe the nail before filing.
Co to jest?
What's this? A nail? You hit it and didn't say anything.
Pokaż.
Show me. Aga, you're a typical client.
Nie no, Aga,
She's gonna kill me today. It's the second time, because you keep distracting me.
specjalnie to
You do it on purpose, so I'll have more work.
roboty.
To showcase how good you are.
Rozpoczynam.
We start to file.
Ja
I always say we carve the ice first. So, everything we see from above, we file in a way so that the nail looks good looking from above.
aby nasz paznokieć wyglądał ładnie, patrząc na niego od górnej części.
We don't touch what's underneath at all.
W ogóle. Krawędzi mają
The edges need to come out straight and round to the middle, and on the other side the same. Come out straight and round to the middle.
okrąglać się do środka. Bardzo ważne.
What is very important is that my right side is blocking me.
Jeżeli
If I hold the nail at the bottom, how will I file? I can maybe step out of the frame? We don't want that.
Co ja teraz
What will I do?
Wchodzę do
I move to the upper arch because here I also don't have any material in the front section.
górnej części. Wypiłowuję
I now file down the thickness of the hairline, but only just gently evening it out.
delikatnie ją wyrównuję. Ja teraz
Now I lie down. Good night.
pilnik
Place the file under the free edge.
wolny brzeg.
I make sure not to press it in hard.
Całe siły. I
And what is very important, I show you with a probe.
nie wkładam pilnika i
I do not insert a file and I do not file in this area.
tak jakby to, co
I only file what is sticking out past the fingertip.
dalej niż opuszek. Pilnik
100 grip file because we have a large amount of material here.
Porównajmy sobie
Let's compare.
Patrzcie, jak wygląda.
See what the right side looks like compared to the left?
Możemy sobie
We can rotate it.
Tutaj.
Here we pulled it up and the edge on this side is thinner,
Ta nasza krawędź z tej strony
and on this side
jest
it is thicker because I haven't filed this side yet.
Nie piłowałam.
I move to the other side.
Kładziesz
You're lying down on the other side?
Czas na
Time to file the inside bit. As I mentioned, we'll do it using an e-file bit. The perfect one for this job will be the carbide number 6 multicolor. And now we file it all off.
Wypiłowujemy sobie wszystko to.
Czemu się nie
You didn't get scared? Doesn't bother me.
Widzimy, że mamy tutaj
We can see that it is definitely thicker here, so I have to press harder with the e-file to file down the thickness.
to zgrubienie. A więc nasz
The pressure on the bit in this place is greater and you can probably hear it.
to.
I widać.
This is what the nail looks like after filing from the bottom.
Pamiętajcie, że
Remember that we can always return to this stage. Gosh, they are so beautiful.
musimy sobie troszeczkę
Now we need to check the lengths.
posprawdzić.
Index nail to ring nail.
Paznokieć wskazujący
Well, I see that it's still half a millimeter longer, so I need to shorten it a bit.
milimetra.
Just a little, just a tad.
Skrócić. Troszeczkę. Jeżeli
Once everything is checked, we move on to the next finger.
do następnego
Repeat all actions.
powtarzamy.
What do we do with this stuff on the side?
Wszystko się wypiło.
We'll file it all off.
Czyli nie trzeba
So you didn't need to shout at me?
Chyba nie.
Maybe not, but we'll see.
Się okaże. W razie co to tam?
If necessary, we'll add some more, build it up. Don't worry.
klepie.
Troszeczkę
We'll peel off a little bit. Be careful.
Nie próbujecie.
Did it hurt? Sorry. I'm trying to move from this side and we'll file the bottom in a moment.
Na środku idzie.
There's more pressure in the middle because we need to file here.
Tutaj wypiłować. Krawędź
Edges have been added. Time for the upper arch.
łuk paznokcia. Po
After dehydration time for the acid-free primer, what do we have to remember? A minimal amount applied only to the natural plate?
Kładamy tylko tam, gdzie naturalny paznokieć.
Time for Agnieszka's favorite base,
bazę Agnieszki.
mineral base in porcelain.
Cieniu. I
First, we cure a thin base layer and then work on the overlay.
Utwardzam i dopiero nadbudowa. Teraz
Time for an overlay. How do we do this?
najpierw musimy zrobić
First, we need to do a thin slip layer.
taką cieniutką.
The slip layer is done. I pick up a bit more product. Now I have to turn the brush because
Obracać troszeczkę tym pędzelkiem, ponieważ
the bases are self-leveling.
bazy są poziomujące.
Yes, and it's about to drop beautifully here onto our nail.
Odkładam moją
We
kropelkę.
place a drop by the cuticles and in the so-called smile lines, I build up the upper arch.
Buduję sobie górny łuk.
Approximately halfway down the extension.
Przedłużenia.
Then we spread the color.
Rozciągam sobie dalej mój
I
kolor.
bajeczka.
Mogę się
I can also use the thin nail art 007 brush to even out the surface.
do wyrównania powierzchni.
Using a thin brush, we can gently correct the upper arch, and remember, you can maneuver your client's finger freely. For example, to shift the apex slightly closer.
W celu przesunięcia na przykład apeksu troszeczkę bliżej. Paznokieć
The finished nail gets covered in tip-top.
Czas na ostatni.
Time for the final nail.
Spójrzmy jeszcze raz.
Let's have another look. There is no leftover cuticle, so there is nothing left to cut out.
No i przystępujemy.
We move on to the overlay.
Jeżeli
If we know the thumb is big, we can do this in 2 layers.
na 2 warstwy.
Are my thumbs too big? I didn't say that. You have wonderful thumbs, wonderful fingers.
Cudowne paluszki.
We help ourselves with a thin brush. Turn it over.
Do góry nogami.
Let gravity help us a little. Time for tip-top. Remember something very important. Your client cannot, under any circumstances, touch her nails now because they need to cool down or they may lose their shine.
Ostygnąć, bo
So we wait about 30 to 60 seconds for the nail to cool down.
30-60 sekund na to, aby paznokcie nam ostygły. Delikatnie.
Gently moisturize the cuticles with the Super Shine Cleaner.
Super shine.
I
Przecieram
wipe the nail fold.
wał około paznokciowy.
And, happy? I am, but it's the client who has to assess it.
Słuchajcie, baby
Baby boomer is what tigers like the most. So I am very happy. And look, my nails have side edges.
Pokażmy
Let's demonstrate that there's no more hole, which was here on the middle finger.
która była na środkowym paznokciu.
efekt.
The before and after. Here you go, this is what the side edges look like. Growth points, and out of the growth points come the edges. This is what the final effect of the metamorphosis looks like. It was supposed to be a working with acrylic set, but we ended up with a correction. Structural baby boomer. Super. Wow, thank you so much for this episode. It was pure pleasure. And this is the end of our episode. Remember, we're here every week. See you soon.
Do zobaczenia.
Do zobaczenia!